Everyone knows what a midget is. I hope so. Well, recently I had a birthday, like last Saturday. So I thought I'd do something, and my wife said, well, let's go do something. I said, okay, well, there's a fly-in at Cotswold Airport. And so I go there. And for the people who don't know my background, I'm a retired airline pilot. Many years. You've heard my stories. So anyway, go to Cotswold Airport, and I just want to see some of the airplanes, you know, because like you do, that's, you know, I kind of lived with it all my life. And there's this big, huge hulk of an airplane. I'm looking at it, it's okay, but I need to look at the other things too. Because there's lots of small planes and loads of people. And I walk around in the small airplanes, and there's airplanes with one wing, and there's airplanes with two wings, and there's a couple of airplanes with two engines, most all have one, and so forth and so forth. And I just kept looking back at this big, huge hulk of an airplane sitting there. It's never going to go up in the air again. Walk around, we have lunch, and there's airplanes flying in, and lots of noise, and people chatting away. And my wife says, well, let's go on an airplane. So the big one, that big hulk that's behind us. Okay. So we climb up the stairs, which I've done many times, and get to the door, and there's a lady there. She's taking a group of people around the inside of the airplane. And she said, okay, you have to pay. Because this, you know, it's an exhibit. So I said, can I have a discount? She said, why? He said, because I used to fly this airplane. They have a 747 at Cotswold Airport. And I had to know that actual airplane.
Whoa, that actual airplane.
Anyway, she said, okay, how it's supposed to, I'll give you half price. So went around. Walked round. My wife says, I'm turning left. I said, you would. And I said, I'm sorry, but I have to go right because I always went up the stairs. Because that was my job. Anyway, the lady was taking this group of people around. She was ex-cabin crew. She was chatting to people, telling her role, what she did on this airplane. She doesn't fly with people anymore. And she's chatting away, and I said, I recognize you. And she said, yeah, I recognize you too. So we're chatting. So, and there's a group of people, they know that she's cabin crew because she told them, and we were chatting. So people got to know that. Anyway, on the upper deck, and so can I have a peek at the flight deck? Sure. Yeah, they had glass door there, so I peeked in there. You know, I've spent quite a few years in there, a lot of years. And there was a lady in the group. She came up to me and says, did you fly this up? I said, yeah, I did. 17,000 hours I spent in this airplane. And I just brought a tear to my eye because this airplane will never go again.